The Indian Prime Minister had a hectic schedule today. Beyond the G20 sessions, the Prime Minister has had as many as 11 meetings. This includes bilaterals, pull-asides and informal multilateral talks. First, the highlight of the event, Prime Minister Modi's meeting with American President Donald Trump. All eyes were on these talks, especially after President Trump's tweet, where he slammed India for imposing tariffs on American goods. But Trump, who is known for his bluster, exercised caution today, and that's saying a lot when it comes to Trump. He adopted a rather diplomatic approach before Prime Minister Modi. The Indian Prime Minister, though, had a clear agenda: trade, terror, defense, Iran and 5G. Here's a small chunk of that conversation.
In this meeting, we would like to discuss 4 issues: Iran, 5G, bilateral relations and defense relations.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. And we've become great friends, and our countries have never been closer. I can say that with surety. And we work together in many ways, including military. But we certainly work together on trade, and we'll be discussing trade today. You did indeed have a landslide election. That was a great election, 72%, as I understand it. And that in the United States would be called a very big victory.
Minutes after the bilateral, India's Ministry of External Affairs issued a statement. Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale told the media that both sides held productive talks over the issue of trade. Issues like India's purchase of the Russian S-400 missile defense system and America's dispute with Iran also came up.
It was a discussion on trade. Both sides aired their concerns. Both sides spoke about the interests of the other side. And what was agreed was that the trade ministers of both countries would meet at an early date and would try and sort out these issues. The Prime Minister did mention in particular that we had taken some action after the GSP was revoked, that was now something that had already happened, and we should now look forward and we should see how we can resolve some of these issues. President Trump, of course, welcomed this idea. The S-400 issue was not discussed. There is an issue of time constraint here. You were in Delhi when this matter was addressed by our External Affairs Minister in the press conference with Secretary of State Pompeo. So that's where it stands. No discussion took place. On Iran, the primary focus was on how we ensure stability in that region. Instability affects us in many ways, not just in terms of our energy needs, but in terms of the very large diaspora that we have in the Gulf. 8 million Indian citizens in the Gulf, and economic interests. So essentially the two leaders agreed that they and their officials will continuously remain in touch to ensure that the region remains stable. And I think that's in our interest, that's in the interest of the United States and in the interest of the region. So that's what I can say.
Later, the Prime Minister held trilateral talks with President Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. There, Modi highlighted that India, Japan and America, JAI or J, as they call themselves, have common interests, especially in the Indo-Pacific. He called on the other leaders to work together for peace and stability in the region. All the 3 leaders also did a fist bump for the cameras. Now, Prime Minister Modi's meeting with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, South Korean President Moon Jae-in and German Chancellor Angela Merkel were some of the other prominent bilateral engagements. Several key issues were discussed during informal meetings of multilateral groupings. At the informal meeting of the BRICS leaders, for instance, the Prime Minister said that terrorism is the biggest threat to humanity.
आतंकवाद सारी मानवता के लिए सबसे बड़ा खतरा है। यह निर्दोषों की जान तो लेता ही है, आर्थिक प्रगति और सामाजिक स्थिरता पर बहुत बुरा असर भी डालता है। हमें आतंकवाद और जातिवाद को समर्थन और सहायता के सभी रास्ते बंद करने होंगे। मैंने हाल ही में आतंकवाद पर एक ग्लोबल कॉन्फ्रेंस का आह्वान किया है। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ लड़ाई के लिए जरूरी सहमति का अभाव हमें निष्क्रिय ही नहीं रख सकता। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ संघर्ष को प्रमुख प्राथमिकताओं में जगह देने के लिए मैं ब्राजील की सराहना करता हूं।
Prime Minister Modi was part of another important informal engagement. He held trilateral talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Experts have placed a lot of faith in this grouping. It is being seen as an effective counterweight to America on the issue of trade war. So it did not come as a surprise when the Prime Minister backed the need to promote a rules-based trading system.
अर्थव्यवस्थाओं के रूप में विश्व की आर्थिक, राजनीतिक और सुरक्षा की स्थिति पर हमारे बीच विचार विनिमय बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारी आज की यह त्रिपक्षीय मुलाकात प्रमुख वैश्विक मुद्दों पर चर्चा और समन्वय का एक उपयोगी माध्यम है। इनमें काउंटर टेररिज्म, इंटरनेशनल हॉटस्पॉट इश्यूज, रिफॉर्म, मल्टीलेटरलिज्म, क्लाइमेट चेंज तथा आरआईसी के तहत सहयोग को आगे बढ़ाना शामिल है।
Even by diplomatic standards, it was a hectic day for Indian diplomacy on the first day of the G20 Summit. 2 trilaterals, 1 informal BRICS meeting and several bilateral meetings. The 2 trilaterals were the J trilateral, the Japan-America-India trilateral, and the RIC, the Russia-India-China trilateral. At the J trilateral, the focus was on Indo-Pacific, while at the RIC trilateral, focus was on the issue of protectionism and how all 3 countries can work together for a better future.